Hi, hello, good evening, and good day. We are running a little late here, so we're not going to waste any more time. All right, let's just kick this sucker off. We're really excited to talk about these two episodes, um,
Mhm.
especially about the craftsman first. Okay. Okay, it's like the march of like the fallen soldiers. It's like a death march. Watching all those black and white
The
photos.
black and white photos. Yeah.
Oh
I didn't want to black and white out anybody else because I just figured if you make it to finale, like
Sure.
yeah, you deserve to remain in color. Kudos and such to you. So let's see. We are Strat Chat, your favorite reality TV podcast. I am Kyle Petty, and I am joined by my besties, John Dunphy and Gina Morgino. You can find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. The website is still unupdated, but that is because I hurt my back really bad, and I just couldn't sit up. In these
That's such a fair
pathetic
reason.
kitchen chairs. Yeah, come on. So cut me some slack now.
Yeah.
I get a little reprieve. Certainly more of a reprieve than we will be giving Gerry on this evening. Okay, because before we get into the joy and elation that is the winner, Queen Liz. Thank God. Thank God. But it wasn't before, Gerry failed us hard. Where do we start with this thing? So that challenge was now not for immunity, right? That's how we kicked this week off, which I thought was very stupid. But we were working for an extra vote, and then that made me excited, right? Like, oh, okay, this could really rock the boat, right? Because there's only 4 of us here. This extra vote, this could really change things. Very fun, very.
Yeah,
fun.
I was so excited until I wasn't.
Right. I was upset because Liz wasn't getting there, but I wasn't upset that I thought Matt got it because I said, you know what, he was kind of dancing around the whole "let's get George" thing, and I said, so maybe this is what they need. This will prevent a stupid little deadlock here, Falsas. This was now an extra vote towards the voting out of somebody from jury. What did you think about this twist? Did you like it?
Boo, tomato.
Here's what I will say this, though. I didn't like the twist in the moment. But at the end of the day, it's a good thing that this wasn't an immunity challenge. Because what we wanted to happen at the end of the finale, what we got with Liz winning, is like, that might not have happened. If that had been an immunity challenge, that previous one, and Matt didn't just earn an extra vote to kick a jury member out, if he had won that immunity, maybe Liz would have been gone before the finale. So
she probably
that is very fair. That is very fair. Okay.
So while I did not enjoy the twist in the moment, it may have been the best thing that could happen.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very astute observation. Thank you. Thank you for that. Keep you around. You help keep the lights on around here. Great. I liked it actually. I thought it was cool. I guess I would have. I'd like to see it again, and I'd like to see it planned for. I'd like to see people discussing that, and I just like to see how that would unfold.
Like ahead of time in the season that it's coming.
Mm-hmm. Like this final one, like this is just how our end game goes. When you get to the end, you have this opportunity. And what will you do with that? I just would like to just see
how jury management is affected by that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting because you don't get that much focus. No one starts talking about jury, or we don't see people talking about jury anyway, until you start to get to the end. I think if you had this all the time, you might hear it a little bit sooner.
That's fair.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
So the vote ended up being for Shawnee, but the interesting thing about this was that, Gerry, do you think that Gerry actually influenced George's decision to switch his vote? Because, George was pushing so hard for Simon.
I think it was really Matt having those two votes.
I was gonna say, yeah.
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 Because Gerry had that conversation asking him permission to vote.
Yeah.
Would you be all right if I do something else? And
The Shawnee vote was Matt's idea the whole time. Like, I don't think George had ever, from what we saw, considered it until Matt said it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Matt had all the power there. It was like, and like, it was pretty clear Matt was going to bring Gerry to final two if that's what the situation was. And it was like, they were the two tightest. I mean, you could argue as tight as like Matt, Gerry, and George were. I think Matt and Gerry were the tightest there. So like George didn't really have a say. It was like, I think at the last moment he knew, all right, Matt and Gerry are voting Shawnee out. I might as well jump on board so I still look good to them. Mm-hmm. In that situation. So
does that effectively debunk, Gerry's main argument? Not main argument, but one of his arguments in his final speech then, because Gerry tried to act like that was part of his connection with George to influence him.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a chance.
Debunked.
Not a chance.
Honestly, I was surprised that Matt didn't try to bring that up more about in his pitch, to be the winner. Like, because George even flat out said to him, like, what was your move? I don't want to hear about moves that you participated in that I orchestrated.
Up until that point, I thought that Matt was doing such a good job advocating for himself. And
yes,
then
that
question
I
hit
agree.
And it completely derailed him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, sure, he did vote George out in the final tribal council, like Liz did. But I still think Liz had a better argument there because before that vote happened, George thought that he had Liz's vote, and worst case scenario, he'd have to make fire against Gerry. So like Liz really was the one that put the nail in the coffin. But like I was surprised that Matt, like he did mention, I won that competition and I got an extra vote, but he didn't really like expand, unless we just didn't see it in the edit. But he didn't really expand on like, because I won that extra vote, George was advocating to get Simon out the whole time, and because I had that extra vote, I had all the power to force him to vote with us to get Shawnee out. And that would have been like the move that he could have said that he made. But like, I think like you were saying, like once George was like, I want to know what move you made, like it just threw everything off for him and he like just couldn't recover.
Well, I also think that he did himself a disservice in not trying to claim more of that George vote. Like, yeah, Liz sealed it, but you can't say that he didn't have a hand in that. It's not like he was never talking about going for George. He right. has been discussing that, and he had discussed it with her. So like, it's not like he wasn't a part of that sometimes. And it's like, I do think that Liz can claim more of it because the whole reason why George felt so secure, especially in these moments, was because of what he thought he had with her. But like, that doesn't mean that Matt has no claim to it.
It's not even just this specific move of voting him out, though, because we have seen in confessionals for weeks now, or I guess days in their world, but we've been seeing him talk about, like, for multiple episodes, like, all right, it's like a slow burn of trying to get rid of him. So if he would have painted it as like, yeah, this was the final nail in the coffin, but like, this is all of the time that I spent trying to calculate when the best moment would be, and all of the times that I was going to make the move but chose not to help get me farther, like before I struck, it could have benefited him too, to see like, no, this was a premeditated plan. It was just about when, not about if.
Yeah. He didn't, again, who knows, with the edit, what we saw or didn't see or whatever, but like, he could have said like, George, because Gerry was volunteering. He's like, I've been so humbled. You three deserve to go. And this is a whole other thing, because then like the next scene, Gerry's like, I want to win because it would help my family. We've struggled. And it's like, I feel bad about that. But it's like, you were just volunteering to be the one to be the last one out before the final tribal. Now, all of a sudden you're desperate to win. But I feel like Matt could have said like, George was ready to send Gerry out because he volunteered. He thought that he had me on board. And then I immediately went to Gerry and told him, no, I'm voting George out. If you want to vote for me or whatever, that's fine. But I'm voting George out. I think Liz is voting George out. Like I feel like he could have definitely put up a better argument there. And it I don't know.
Yeah, for some reason he got really very thrown there. What did you think of Gerry's speech? Now, there were some parts there that I was actually like, okay, Gerry, like maybe a little bit, maybe a shade.
I
Gina
thought
kinda
that
it's fine.
I think Gene is having some technical problems.
Yes.
I think I hadn't really thought about it that much. Like we've talked about Gerry, he had the injury in earlier in the year, um, in the season, and he was at the bottom for a lot of time. But I feel like when he started bringing up the fact that like the oldest player in Australian Survivor history, and he's made it to the final three, and he
Mhm.
was voted off by the heroes to go to the villains tribe, and there was a decent chance as the new person coming in there from the heroes, they could have just voted him out, but he survived that. Like he was
He did
making
survive it,
some,
and then
yeah,
the other argument for me that also I was like, because again, George played such a flashy game, and all the focus was on him. But like, if you're taking Gerry's word for it, and you say like, listen, the heroes burns me, so we work to knock out the heroes. Are you just claiming George's stuff, or did you really like want that? Were you really acting as a pair, but we only saw George claiming it? So for a split second, I thought that maybe he was making a decent argument there.
yeah. I actually think that he may have made the second best pitch, to be honest, because while I might not necessarily like agree with everything that he said, while I don't think that he made as many moves as he seems to think he made,
Yeah, I don't think so either.
he wasn't doing all the flailing that Matt started doing after George kind of grilled him. And it's interesting because George did not ask that question of Gerry. You know what I mean? Like he went in on Matt being like, I want to know what moves you made, not just moves that you participated in that I made.
Mhm.
And it really definitely, I think, flustered Matt and threw him off. I feel like George could have kind of drilled into Gerry a little bit more too. And I feel like Matt just never really kind of recovered and started to flail for the rest of that tribal council. Whereas
Yeah.
Gerry actually put up like a decent argument, whether you totally agree with everything that he said or not. Like at least he was able to answer every question and like have like a pretty decent answer. Where I
He
felt like Matt
was.
was really struggling.
He was struggling. I don't think that Gerry needed to be grilled in the same way, though. There are two reasons why I could see George not needing to do that. I mean, one, because he really did just do whatever he said. So he already played the game so closely with him, he already knew. Or could also be and wasn't really in contention for this.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
how I took it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the more negative way. I was trying to be positive and just say, I played my game so close with this person. I don't have to ask what their moves were because we moved together. That's just, trying to be positive.
Mm-hmm.
But, Matt says that Gerry was kind of coming off a little short and irritated towards the end.
Yeah,
I would agree that he did. He was getting he was getting really frustrated.
I did. I honestly, I feel like there was so much that happened in these two episodes, and obviously, especially the finale. And so I almost did forget that Gerry definitely did have he had some struggles in there too, when trying to brag about his social game, and then Sean being like, "Do you even know any of my hobbies?"
That
and
was
Gerry being
rough.
like, "No, I don't." Yeah, okay. Gerry did some flailing as well.
And I just said
I
they
forgot
just
about
do
that.
not like him. They don't like him. That was very uncomfortable, especially because Sean is like a nice man. Like Sean doesn't really get like that. I was like surprised that he pressed him, because that just doesn't really ever seem to be Sean's nature. I loved it.
Well, it's funny because the whole Gerry was made up of returners, right? Like people who have played this game before, and the majority of them, I believe, were OG heroes. So I almost feel like Gerry, what he thought was like the best argument for him, may have just kind of pissed the jury off, because they sent him over to the villains. He came back, and now all he's saying is, I just made it my mission to take out every single hero. And it's like, well, screw you, man.
Yeah.
But also then don't be bitter Bettys, because it was them that all agreed with Sam when Sam said that he was worthless.
Disposable, yeah.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I mean, you know what? Fuck you, heroes. You didn't care if I was here or not. You're damn right I was coming after you.
Yeah.
I would have made no bones about that too. I agree. Fuck them heroes.
Oh man.
People didn't like this jury removal twist. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I don't necessarily hate it, but I do hate that it meant that Shawnee couldn't be there for the finale. That was the biggest sticking point for
Right.
me.
I didn't
I
like how it went.
I think
I
Kevin Jacobs was the one that had tweeted. He was like, "Production. Oh, let's come up with a new twist that gets out the favorite player of like all time on Australian Survivor. That'll be great,
Spice.
right? You want that, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about making another in memoriam for Shawnee.
I also don't understand why she had to leave completely. Just take her vote away. Let her sit there. Like,
Mhm.
and her exit was so awkward. It's like, all right, you've got no torch either. Just
Yeah, she's
go.
like, "Do I just go?" Yeah, she's like,
Yes.
all right, bye, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, like she did not deserve that.
And but she had such a good attitude about that too. She was like,
Yeah.
all right, well, bye.
Bye.
Yeah. No, but you know, I hadn't even really thought about it much, but I totally agree, Kyle. Like it could have just been a vote to remove one jury member's vote from them.
Yeah.
Like, don't make them just leave completely.
No,
Sorry,
because
Shawnee.
even if this was a regular elimination, that person wouldn't have left. Like if there was
Right.
no twist, they at least get to stay. So it's not like there was a plane ticket to waste or something like that.
Right.
Like they were staying anyway. Just what the hell?
She probably didn't leave. She probably just had to stay at the jury villa while everybody else
That's
went to the
probably
final
true.
trouble.
Yeah, she was like, "Y'all have fun. I'm gonna take a nap. Goodbye."
She's probably like, you know what? Honestly, good.
Fine.
Whatever.
Everybody was gone, and she was like opening the champagne alone. She was like, "Screw these
Everybody-
people! I'm gonna start drinking."
Liz came back and like she's like passed out, bottles all around. Congratulations, bitch. But it's too bad she didn't get to be there for the win.
Yeah.
You know, like that's
Yeah.
sad. Because you could tell that they still had such a she like only hugged her on the way out.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's too bad.
I totally agree. Justice for Shawnee. Justice
Yeah.
for Shawnee.
Yeah.
Justice for
yeah.
Shawnee.
What did you think about this final immunity challenge, by the way? You know, this
Oh.
took place at one of the same sites that we've seen before, and other times that we've been in Samoa.
Mhm.
And the water crashing upon the rocks in a rather beautiful way. Very beautiful.
Yeah, I love this.
Yeah. So we had our feet on a perch, right? And hands hanging onto this little thingy up here. And then spikes coming in from the back. Courtesy of a crank by way of JLP. He was cranking it, I guess, whatever intervals he or Liz deemed fit. It seemed like there were no real rules here. We're just
The
cranking
way
whatever
Liz was
somebody
like,
wants
"Make
to
it
crank.
harder."
I love this. Liz, such a badass. Like, really? That's it? That's it? Come on, do it
let's
again.
go.
And why are we
Yeah.
stopping
So
now?
we might as well just speed it up too, because I think that's also strategy in a way. Because how
Yeah.
long can your feet really be on here?
Yeah.
Let's speed this comp up. We don't need to be look. Let's go.
Because
Yeah.
as it was, how long was it? It was a really long competition. I just don't remember the.
It was 4 hours and 10
Yeah.
minutes when Matt
Crazy,
finally came down.
crazy.
And it's such a good move for her strategically in that too, because everybody's hurting. She's hurting herself, but Matt's up there. It's the last two up there. Matt's up there going like, "Man, I'm hurting," and now Liz is saying she wants more. Like, oh my god, she must be feeling pretty good. I'm really shaky. Like, it definitely, I think, plays with your head.
Yeah, of course.
So,
When Liz switched sides, after the spikes were at full spikeage,
Mm.
right? And she said, "You know what? My shoulder's starting to hurt." Diddly diddly pop.
I got so nervous.
Yes. I was like, what is she doing? I'm like,
But
either
now is not
this
the
is going to
time.
be brilliant and give her like a new lease in this game here, or this is gonna she's gonna slip off this thing.
Yeah.
Because you
Oh my
keep
God, I
thinking
got
like
so
this thing
nervous.
is wet. It's not even like it's
Yeah.
dry and
Right.
God.
right. It was like, honestly, that moment was like awesome to watch though, when she made that like change in her position or whatever. It was like, all right, Liz is in this for the long haul. Like, she can go for a while still.
Yeah, and I think it had to do too with the fact that her partner was there.
Mhm.
I think he really pushed her along.
Even he, like, watching her do that was like, Jesus Christ. Like, what
Yeah.
what is happening right now?
He
I
was
think he
really
fell in
good
love
with
again.
Yeah, right. He was like very good with like motivating too.
Yeah.
Like I can only imagine, because listen, Matt and his lovely wife. I'm sure they're great people. But like you could tell like this is a solid partnership between Liz and I think Daniel, his name was. Like the way he was like speaking to her and encouraging her and motivating her, it made me feel like I could freaking do this.
I would crush this. Yes. Thank you for
Yeah.
supporting me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was after that she did make that switch.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really great to see. Great to see. We did mention that we saw Kara in this final challenge. Matt pointed out. That was nice to see. Welcome back.
Yep.
George played the game very closely with her last time he played. It was a fun time.
Did you like all these family moments?
I do like when family comes at this point.
Okay.
And only
literally watching it, I was like, I don't know if Kyle is going to love this or hate this.
I think that Australian Survivor is probably the hardest game of the things that we watch. And I think these people are the most deserving of a visit in this moment and needed the most to really push them. I love seeing it, but I do not always love, even though it worked out really great in this situation, I think it's awkward to have them watching at like, I would hate that. I'm like, don't look at me. Like, my body is all wrenched up. I'm in the worst pain of my life.
I think it would like psych me out more almost.
Yeah, like I wouldn't like want that. But then I see like how the supportive words can be very inspiring, and I think that would help. But like I
don't know. I feel like it would do the opposite for me.
Yeah, I don't know.
I get like stressed out about it.
And to the same point, I also don't know that I would want my family when they're reading the final results either. I feel like that's only good if you're the winner.
Right, like let me be sad in peace. I don't need to be like, oh, I'm sorry. Don't talk to me. I don't want to.
Right, exactly. Like I would just storm out with my partner, get out of there.
Even if everybody gets like a couple of votes or something, it's an exciting thing down to the wire. But this was like clean sweep. Mm-hmm. So, but I do think I can see like what you mean about like it would making you more nervous or stressed out, like trying to go into a final challenge. But like when I think about like none of these people have had like a real meal in like over a month. Like you've been so separated from your family on this remote island. I feel like having somebody there, either like a family member or a close friend to watch this last competition, I'd be like, I'm so glad you're here. I feel like that would.
Yeah, probably. Maybe that would overpower that.
I truly could see it going either way for me,
I have two other thoughts about these family visits, especially at this stage. One, being the family member visiting. Well, actually, they're both around being the family member visiting. I would be there and be like, "My God, you smell like hell." like you can't.
I had the same thought.
Right, like there cannot be like, oh my gosh, I'm just so happy to embrace you. There has to be. I
immediately was like, oh, the way that I would get the ick for whichever person was my person, I'd be like, please go shower or don't talk to me.
Right. I feel like I'd be like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see. Oh
my God.
Okay.
I had the exact same thought.
Yeah.
I liked there were two moments that really made me laugh. One was when Kara came out to see George and she was like, you look gray. And he was like, you look great too. And she was like, no, you look gray, not great. That made me that made me laugh out loud. Yeah. And then there was another moment when Gerry's fiance came out, actually. She was like, you look different. It's like, those two, yeah.
Yeah, Matt, we agree. Says every time I saw George's brown shorts these last few days, all I can think of is how bad they probably smell. Yeah, everything. My other thought with these family visits were like, what if like the person didn't say they wanted to see you? Like JL, JL is always like, who are you dying to see? Who are you hoping is over there? Can you imagine if it's like me and John is like, I just really want to see my sister Mary Kate. I'm like, fuck you! I came all the way out here to Samoa.
I was like, what if Liz is like, I want to see my partner, and then her mom walks up? Like, how embarrassing!
Oh my God! Yeah, mom.
Oh man,
all the way out here crawling on these wet rocks to come visit you. You didn't even say mom. I'd be like, I wouldn't even answer the question. I'd be like, there's so many people I'd love to see.
I know, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally, I'd love to see anybody right now.
Yes.
Just so a familiar face. It doesn't matter who it is.
I did think about that too, because like I feel like well, you know, for Matt, obviously he's gonna pick his wife or whatever.
course.
Like, you know, but like for when
George.
Gerry, for some reason, I had this moment, I had this like thought when Gerry was like, well, obviously my fiance, but like I was thinking, isn't he like a father and a grandfather? I was like, what if one of his kids walks over now?
Like I have like the only thought I had, I have to wonder if there was like I had to wonder if there was some kind of like a confessional or something that we don't see where they're like, who do you miss the most from home? And like they have a conversation with them about that kind of thing and like probe them on who they would maybe want to see if they get to that point, you know? So that they're like prepared to find the right person.
They probably asked them at the start of the season, like, if you make it to the top 5, 4, 3, whatever, who's the one person that you want us to bring out here?
Yeah, but what if they're not available? What if they can't make it? Like, you
there's
don't
still
know.
A risk, yeah.
Yeah.
That's why like, I feel like it's like once you get to that point, they're like, oh, like who do you really miss? You know? It's I don't know, like I don't know.
Unless they have like, unless they fly out like more than one family member, like maybe like one of
the
Gerry's
other people
kids.
are just like sitting in a hotel somewhere, like, well, they don't have to see me, so I guess I'll just hang out here.
I wasn't sure. They're all standing back there in a line.
After the finale, they all get to party together, you know?
No, they're all behind the rocks. It's like the partner, the mom, everyone that they said. It's like, who do you think? Who do you think is back there? Is it Gina? It's like, yes, yeah, I was chosen. And then, all right, well, let's see. And then everybody else like, oh fuck, it wasn't me. Damn it!
It's like production goes to the people that didn't get picked, and they're just like, I'm sorry, you were not selected. Gerry does not care about you as much as his fiance.
So sorry.
God, so embarrassing.
This sounds familiar, actually. Matt said that kind of happened in Survivor 28 with Tony. His wife was pregnant and couldn't come out, and I don't remember if he knew who would be there or not.
At least that's like a different situation. It's like a medical thing.
That's positive
right,
too.
Fly, yeah.
Right. It would have been her, and it makes good sense.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't think any friend, if you thought that your name was going to come up before the wife, like,
yeah, that's your own fault.
Then how dare you? How dare you? Yeah, that's on you.
Right. I totally agree.
I guess that's it for like major moments, right? I mean, obviously we're thrilled that Liz won here. What do you think of her edit? And a lot of our Survivor seasons here, we don't really like the winner's edit. Do you think that Liz was properly represented this season?
I think it served her really well.
Yeah. Can I tell you can I show you the moment that I knew I was in love with her? Oh, I've had this in here. We've watched this before, but this was really this was the moment. This was the moment that I knew that. Yeah.
What is playing for? Yeah. Oh, lasagna. All right, hero.
From that moment on.
My girl.
Yeah. From that moment on, I knew it had to be Liz. Oh,
I think
God.
that's what made both of us vote for her in our poll that week.
Yeah.
She did it.
Oh my God.
She did it. The ultimate.
Oh God, I love her so much.
She's amazing. I love her.
What a season.
So obviously things could have gone wrong for Liz at some point. Like she was at the bottom at times, but like would you then say that a lot, yeah. And so would you then say that George voting out Shawnee, even though we've all said that like maybe it was necessary for him at, you know, maybe not at that exact time, but like when he decided right then and there after the whole shiz thing came out, I'm going to take Shawnee out, was that his biggest mistake, you think? I mean, this Liz talked about how like this moment of getting revenge for Shawnee here, and she had to wait for the exact right moment and knowing when to do it. Like, could that have been George's biggest mistake in the game?
I mean,
maybe not biggest, but it certainly was not a correct move. That's for sure.
I would hope that just because she's been burned before by him, that wouldn't be the only thing to make her want to take a shot at him.
I think it was just more and more gas.
It was like the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah,
But
because
like
she said taking Shawnee from me the first time was when
Right.
she set sights on him. And she goes, then you took her from me a second time.
Well,
And she's
and
like,
you know,
"At a notch."
this is actually interesting because and I think it really speaks to how weak Matt and Gerry's final tribal council pitches were, because Liz said, and there was no dispute about it, you took Shawnee from out of the game. You took her away from me then. You took her out of the jury because you knew she would be, you know, a vote for me if I made it to this point. Meanwhile, Matt and Gerry were voting Shawnee out, and George kind of jumped on board with them. You know what I mean? Like the fact that Liz said, like, you took Shawnee from me and then took her out of the jury, but I feel like Matt and Gerry probably felt like that was their move. They didn't speak up at all to say, like, that was something we did. And it's like, how weak is your pitch that you're not even going to take credit for the moves that you made? The one time that you made George flip when he wanted to get rid of Simon, you know, it's kind of, it's interesting.
It's crazy. Like, unfortunately, Gerry didn't have, much to bring to the table in this whole like deliberation, but there were multiple things that Matt could have said and didn't. And it was very surprising to me because, again, like I said, like he was doing such a good job advocating for himself when he was talking about all of his competition wins and his social game and that first speech. But then as soon as he got questioned, he folded. And it's like, no, you have material you can be using. You're just not using it.
Right. I still think the end would have gone the same way, but I definitely think that Matt could have copped some votes here.
Yeah.
Had he pushed a little more, because he just allowed her to steamroll him.
Like, it truly was the moment that George was like, okay, well, what was your move? That was it for him. Right.
He should have even just brought up, because I thought he made a wonderful point in his initial speech when he mentioned how I had to now once I decided to switch sides and switch my alliance, I had to convince you in that moment that I was more valuable than somebody you were already working with. Like, that is a strong statement. And I didn't see it that way when it was going on. Like, I saw it as a desperate thing, but putting that spin on it, like,
yeah,
that's interesting. And you really, that was one of your big moves.
It was that. And it was also like, at the time, and I don't know if he just like retroactively was like, oh, I can use this, but I didn't expect him to talk about the auction as a social move.
I didn't like that, actually.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Mainly because I saw that moment as something genuine that was outside of the game.
Fair.
And I didn't like that you put a game spin on it.
Sure. That's fair.
Yeah, that's all.
Yeah.
But as far as making it a gameplay move, it's a good one. It does serve the purpose that, you said it aimed to. Sure. But
right.
You would hope that something like that wouldn't be.
No, yeah, that's valid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I loved too? One of my favorite moments from this final tribal was when Liz brought up, because George really directed that question of what move did you make that wasn't mine, and he really asked it to Matt and Liz. And where Matt didn't have an answer, I loved that Liz could bring up, I forced George to switch his vote because I threatened him by saying, I'm going to use my idol to save Flick if you do not vote in a different way. And when Flick snapped her head towards George and said, is that true? And he just said, yeah, it's true. I went, okay, Liz just won. Liz, if she hadn't already wrapped it up and won this game, she just did it right there.
Yeah.
But see, and that's the thing too. That's something that Matt could have done. I'm not saying it would have won him anything, but he could have gotten a vote.
It wouldn't have been unanimous.
Right. He could have pushed and gotten something out of that. But oh well.
And you can see as soon as Liz started having a stronger and stronger pitch, he just retreated. Like you could see it in his face that he was like, all right, well, that's it for me. I'm not
he just kind of sat. You saw defeat in his face.
Yeah.
And that's too bad. That's too bad.
Yeah. I felt like his answers were just incomplete. Like there were things that he could have brought up and he kind of touched on some of them, but didn't actually like expand and like complete the thoughts. Like he mentioned, I won that second to last challenge and got the extra vote. Okay, well, what did you do with the extra vote? He just kind of said, I won the challenge and got the extra vote. Didn't explain what he did with it and how that was a move for him. And then and then the whole thing with getting George out. Okay, yes, you also voted to get George out, but Liz is giving like a concrete example of like, I waited till the right moment. George thought he had my vote, and then I flipped on him without telling him. Okay, yes, Matt, you voted George out, but now expand on that. Like, tell them like what the result of that was. And you could say George thought he had my vote. He thought I was voting Gerry out, and I instead went to Gerry and said we have to get George out. Like, he didn't like he kind of like just touched on things, but didn't actually like expand and then like complete the actual answers that he was trying to give. And then once George kind of called him out, he just totally flopped and didn't know what to do. And Gerry was just kind of sitting there saying, I was the oldest person and I couldn't connect with anybody because you were talking about football.
Oh my God.
Because football is a job. Do you know my hobbies? I was like, what?
I literally screamed out loud. I was like, did he really just call it out like that?
Yeah.
But he was like, do you know any of my hobbies? And Gerry was like, no. And he went, cool, because I know yours. And he started like listing off things that he knows about Gerry. And I went, oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yikes. Matt has a Big Brother related question.
Sure.
Oh.
Wants to know, is there anyone from this cast we'd like to see or think would do well on Big Brother Australia? That's interesting. I think Sean would do well in that environment. Trying to lean on this and I slipped. Can't even lean on the table. I think Sean would do well in this environment. Big Brother Australia has some tough competitions. This is not, America definitely has the cheesiest, wackest comps. Big Brother Australia has some tough stuff. They make them do some very physical things.
Yeah.
And I think Sean would do well in that environment. And I think he just has a social game that would work well in that environment too. Everyone just loves Sean, because he's just the nice guy.
Do you think that so I don't think at this point anymore now, because George is so well known as King George of Survivor, Australian Survivor, but he's so strategic that I could see him doing well. And while the competitions in Big Brother Australia are definitely way more intense and more difficult than the competitions we have here on our version of Big Brother in America, I do wonder if George would fare better. I could see George coming in as a new player. Maybe if he just played even one season of Australian Survivor coming in, I think he could probably do pretty well on a season of Big Brother Australia. But at this point, after 2 seasons, if anybody, knows anything about his gameplay in Survivor Australia and he goes into this house, I don't think anybody would want to work with him or would trust him or I don't know.
I think it also depends on how they set the game up, because the way that Big Brother Australia went this last season with the 3 people on the block and you having house nominees, and I don't know, George could have fun playing some numbers games there. He's a numbers whiz. And there's always going to be a Gerry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'd be interesting. Matt said, anyone from pre-jury, maybe some stair pushers. I think Sarah would do fine in this world.
Yeah,
she would do just
Sarah would be
fine.
fun.
Yeah.
What about Jordy? I could see Jordy doing well. I think people would get along with him. He's a very likable guy. I think he could do pretty well on a season of Big Brother Australia. I like Jordy.
Yeah, there's a lot that it's a lot more about personality in Big Brother, I think. People have to like you, because people get very petty in Big Brother. I just don't want you to be here. Just get out of here.
Yeah. What about
but you do get that with Australian Survivor a little bit too, because it's longer,
Yeah. What about Sneaky Stevie?
I don't want to
change
see
in
him
your face.
Anymore. I don't want to see him anymore. Yeah, I'm done.
Wow. No.
He had a sad end, but that doesn't mean we need to see him again.
What about I don't know. I feel you know what it is? I'm just thinking about people that I would want to see again, but not that they would necessarily do well on the season.
Yeah.
Just people you think that you just happen to like.
Yeah.
I mean, and also some people are fun to watch because they're chaotic. And the worse they are at it, the more fun it is to watch them. Like for half of the season, we were saying about Simon, and then he got good, you know? But like for a while, we liked Simon because he was all over the place.
I would
was
watch
fun.
Simon on any show. I would love to, honestly,
Oh,
actually.
I would watch Simon on
yeah.
any show too. I would not be mad.
Now that we bring up Simon, I would love to see Simon play Big Brother Australia. Why not? I'm trying to look. I'm looking at the cast list here.
I don't care.
Yeah, I truly, I could,
Yeah.
I would watch Simon on anything.
Matt says
I was
justice
saying-
for Frasier. No, who cares? Like I just thought it was sad that he got his story's sad, but like I'm not like riding for him or anything. Sorry, B.
I have to tell you, Simon, I think, has one of the best like stories from this whole season. Like I know that he didn't win, but he made it very far in the game when he was super on the bottom.
Mhm.
Nobody wanted to work with him. He was like brought in to so many votes that might have happened that he followed through with, that then everybody else abandoned him, but he still made it so far. He won the car. And I told Gina actually before we started, I said it made me, one of my favorite things from this finale was just the fact that Simon, especially after the way that he went out in his first season with 2 idols in his pocket, pre-merge, I would have loved if he was there still in the game on finale night. But the fact that Simon was just able to be there on finale night and cast a vote for the winner of the game as a jury member made me very happy. And you could see how much it meant to him, I think, when he walked up into that little booth to cast his vote. He just had this smile on his face. And like, I was just like so happy to see Simon still there,
Yeah.
Contributing to the game in some way, picking the winner, of the season. And this was such a great season, I think, for Simon. I'm really, really happy that he was there on finale night to cast a vote.
Good for you, Simon. We
Yeah.
love you. That's that. That's really it. Hi, DM Rocks. Heard a rumor that next season is called Fans vs. Favorites. No, thank you.
Ooh.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I'd like to see all newbies. Let's start fresh group.
Would that be even
Right.
if like would that
Come
be
on.
even if the favorites include people like Shawnee and Simon coming back, and
Yeah. Yes, it does.
you still want newbies?
At least for the next one.
Yeah.
I'd
I
love
feel
to
like
see
a
these
lot of
people
the-
again. But let's
I
not
feel
make
like
this a
lot of the
challenge.
favorites would be a lot of the same people we just watched,
Yeah. I don't want this to be the
Right.
challenge.
Right.
Let's bring in some new people. Let's see what anybody else does.
Yeah.
We already know about these people.
Which also, like, again, there is something to be said about the fact that, like, there were so many returners this season and a newbie won,
Yeah. There's also something to be said for the fact that we get to this point and the entire jury is returnees and the final tribal is all new. Like,
Yeah.
that's very
Yeah.
interesting too.
That is very interesting.
Mhm.
I really liked that.
Definitely
It's
did
like-
not see that.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And I love that.
Yeah.
So,
But
wow, what a season! I mean, like I was saying to Gina before too, like after the way the second to last episode ended and like how last week was going, I felt like this had been such a great season for the most part, and it just felt like the way it was ending was kind of disappointing.
Mhm.
But the way that the way that this finale ended up, this was a great season. I really,
It turned
really,
right back around.
yeah. It's like that moment where like you're watching a movie and like there's all this craziness and action and chaos, and then you get to that like moment right before the ending of the movie where it's like, oh, how are they going to get out of this? What's going to happen? Oh, this looks really bad. And then the finale comes, like the end comes, and you're like, oh my god, this was incredible. Like this, it really was
Worth the ride. Yeah.
oh, such
Yes,
a
it
great
absolutely
season,
saved
so
it.
much fun. Yeah.
absolutely saved it.
Oh,
Especially
Liz is
after
such a rock
yesterday
star.
and seeing Gerry and his bullshit.
Oh,
I was
man.
like, this
I was
finale is fucked.
livid.
yeah.
This finale's fucked.
Yeah. But wow, what a season. What a season.
And that's
It was
that. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing else to say. We had a good time. So what's happening now? We're picking up Survivor 44 finally next week. All right, we delayed again. We survived out. So next Monday at 9:30, Survivor 44. We're catching up with the whole thing. And oh, hey Dan. Dan's here.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah, next Monday 9:30, Survivor 44, and then this Thursday, Big Brother Canada at 9:30. I know nothing.
I know
I'm
some stuff.
still in the midst of getting caught up on last week. I was very, very busy, so
Yeah.
I'm not fully caught up at all.
I know who the 2 original noms were, who won POV, but I don't know who the replacement nominee is yet.
All I know is the
For BB
HOH.
Ken. Yeah. You want to know things?
We have a very special request.
What's that?
A very special request.
Oh, actually, and it's been updated. It's been updated. This is so Gina can see the latest version.
Thank goodness
of,
Matt brought this up.
yeah.
We forgot
Thank
to
you,
mention
Matt.
it's Mon Wan Monday.
Oh,
It
God.
is
We
Mon
almost
Wan
got out of
Monday.
here without bringing it up. That's too bad.
Yeah.
What a distant way even mentioning
So-
Big Brother
Oh,
2.
no.
What a
Yeah.
shame.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
It's a real
Here we go.
honor.
Here we go.
Mon Wan
Here's this
Monday.
here for everybody out there. Here you go. Mon Wan Monday.
The addition of
Oh
Cynthia
my God.
makes me so happy.
Just because I feel like it add, she has the hat on and everything. Like, you really have to.
If
She's
we're
not
gonna
even
if we're
looking
gonna
at the camera.
if we're gonna talk about title cards, can we just take a moment and talk about the slander on my name from Thursday's episode?
Well,
Slander. I mean,
you did
I
have
don't think
something better
anything
to
was-
do.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
It just was what it was. You called out.
Yeah.
That was the information.
Listen, we had to have something there so that the background would still look, presentable.
That's really how it became. I was like, well,
Mhm.
now I have to redo the background because now it's going to be all messed up. And I was like, well, if I have to do a new graphic anyway, I might as well make a joke of it. Like, this is far more fun than a new background.
Oh my God. I
Very fun.
scream laughed. I watched it just to catch up on what was going on, and I was scream laughing in my apartment.
Yeah, the whole stream.
The whole stream. Even on the credits, on the opening credits.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah,
Thank
see,
you, Dan.
God.
it is peak production value. You're welcome. No, we do what we can here. Nothing else. Well, so that's that, right? Thank you, Australia. This was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. We're coming back for Big Brother Australia too.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
I'm
don't know if everyone's coming
excited.
back.
I'm
coming
down.
back.
I
I'll
haven't
be
seen
here.
Australia
Oh.
yet.
Oh, thank goodness!
It's
This will be
fantastic.
your first foray in
Yeah.
Australian Big Brother, huh? Yeah, I'm excited.
We
I was
we
up
love
on tour.
Australia.
Right.
That's right.
Well, you did.
We love
Um,
Australia. Australia gives us so many good things.
They
Really.
really do. They do.
They do so many of our shows better than us.
Oh yeah. I mean, to be fair, it doesn't take much, but sure.
Ooh. We're gonna see about this season of Big Brother Australia, though, because this one is themed differently. This is
Is
the
there
House
a
of
dating
Love.
theme to it? Yeah.
House of Love.
Yeah.
Which again I did immediately scoff at, but then again, if you want to go back to BB9, BBUS 9, till death do us part. Okay, horrible end game. Okay, boo, boo, boo. But boy, did we have a good time getting there. Oh, we had us a time that season. Okay, that was the season. I talk about this all the time, but this is when I was going backwards, and I was like, Gina, I just started BB9. Do not start this. Absolutely not. But I was too high to get up, so I just kept watching. And I said, now wait. And then the same night, I texted you. I said, never mind.
Yep, literally a few hours later, I'm a liar. Forget everything. I just said.
Never mind. I'm in it. Yeah. It starts off weird because you're like, what the hell is going on here? But then once it gets off, I mean, we really hit the ground running. And you wouldn't think that. And really the theme in that season was they were it wasn't so much a dating thing as it was because apparently this aired over Valentine's Day. This was like an
Okay.
off time for Big Brother, and you were supposed to be paired with who's supposed to be your soulmate, like whoever you were supposed to be with in life. And I mean, it was off to the races because one pair, well, did not agree that this was her soulmate. Okay, and she let everyone know.
Yikers.
Yeah, it was very
Like they came
very
into the
painful.
game together with people they already knew.
No.
Oh,
These are,
okay.
yeah, so this is like whatever questionnaires, things they filled out
Gotcha.
getting
Okay.
in here. That's how they
Understood.
cast it with people who are supposed to be there, and they paired them together to play the game as
Got
a
it.
duo. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, chaos ensued. Okay. But it did cause us some interesting game. Oh, that is the other thing. There was a couple in the house, and they were not paired together.
Ooh, that's
Huh.
so awkward.
Right, that was an interesting thing to watch unfold too. So, like, yeah, there were little things that were kind of cool about this. Oh, Dan's got some stuff here.
Yeah.
House of Love. It just ends up being 20 virgins who have never been in a relationship who technically. Oh, I thought you were giving us a real. I thought, oh, he copied and pasted this the information. Technically, qualify as single and a bunch of awkward
Hypotheticals.
interactions leading to no actual showmates. That's probably what we're gonna get.
We also have another very nice comment here
Oh, I saw it too.
from Papa. Yeah.
Thanks a
Would have liked to
lot.
discover would have liked to discover the channel earlier in the season. Enjoy the discussion. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. keep
Hopefully you
hanging.
stick with us. We're always talking about reality TV shows of all kinds, whether
our
it's
favorite stuff.
Survivor,
Favorite stuff,
The
you know?
Challenge, Big Brother. We do all sorts of international stuff too. US, Canada, UK, Australia. We love Australia. So hang out with us.
Yeah, come hang out.
Yeah, we like to have a good time around these parts.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think we should discount Big Brother Australia, House
Oh,
of
not at
Love,
all.
right? So who knows? Who
I
knows?
wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, and you know, Big Brother is a character in the Australian universe. You know, he talks to them.
Big Brother speaks to them.
Yeah,
Okay.
and he's actually like very funny. Like
Yeah.
like you're never annoyed when Big Brother is speaking. Like it's a really fun element to this. Like it's completely different. So I'm excited to see how he meddles in some of these couples and stuff too. Because they really do put them, and I wish I could think of something like specific, but they put them in some pretty uncomfortable positions, like socially. That it's really wild. They will they've even exposed conversations that people have had, like behind that they think were behind closed doors. Remember that happened last
That's
season.
fun.
That's
I
right.
like
With
that.
the laptop, right? The laptop
Yes, they were
briefcase and like
they were talking in the bedroom, and this whole thing got totally aired. So there's a
This was
big
Drew,
screen
right?
in the living room.
I love that.
Drew and like the conversation of like Drew being like, oh, like we'll do each other's dirty work. You take out my
Mhm.
girlfriend, I'll take out your girlfriend for you. Like, and then everybody got showed in the house.
I
Yeah, there's this
love
huge
that. That is
screen in the
messy
living
as
room that like
hell.
Big Brother just puts random things on. You put like vote counts and stuff on there, and then air their fucking video right there for everyone to see. And it's
That
like,
is-
and I had mixed feelings on that though, because I said,
I
you know,
love that.
I feel like you're crossing a line. I do not assume that my secret gameplay, if I was good enough to not be overheard,
Fair.
don't do that to me. But you know what? Hey, as a viewer, give it to me.
Mess.
Yeah, it's a
Mess.
disaster. And I'm here for all of it. But like as a player, I don't know. I
Yeah,
would
that
definitely
does
call
feel a
foul.
little like production manipulation, but it's fun.
Foul. It is fun. And if we just admit that, like, you know, production is manipulating, I don't necessarily care if you do. As long as it doesn't feel skewed like to any like particular person, like don't let them get out of stuff. But I do like when you inject certain things to fuck things up. Yeah, I think that's a good time. Like justice for
It's
Pandora's
exciting.
box. You know what happened to that?
Yeah.
You know, we saw that in BBUS. I thought that was a good time.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh. Big Brother really gonna have to be one hell of a wingman if he wants an actual showman's in his House of Love. It might happen though. It might happen. Because these are supposed to be singles. They're probably gonna put a lot of alcohol in here. Because I imagine things like that. I think this is gonna be it could be like a really messy good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll be here for it. So we're hoping
And
that kicks off in May.
Of course, you can't go wrong with Sonia Kruger. fantastic.
Love her.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
Can't wait to be back with Sonya.
Yeah. I wish there was a way to put more of Sonya in it though, because you really only get her like during eliminations. Because Big Brother is really the narrator of everything. Like he hosts the competitions, he's just talking through everything. Or they read things, but like Sonya's not really as involved. Well, I guess nobody else is either.
Yeah, but we really do only see Arissa and Julie for live.
Yeah, I guess so. I guess so. Yeah. I guess it's weird because I always feel like I get so much less of Sonya in comparison.
I mean, I guess maybe it's just because the full season is not live. So there's no like.
I guess because the live eviction, you are getting a full like hour of them, and Sonya, you're still only getting via video screen in there.
Sure, yeah.
So I guess that's it.
Dan has another good comment here.
It's actually true. I do agree with this.
For BBAU, yeah, they barely feed them enough. They put a lot of alcohol in there. That's just going to be horrible for their systems.
Oh no!
Do you remember Kyle last season? How small? Because they get a shopping budget, Gina.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not like America. They just put whatever they want on the list.
But is it like food competitions or?
So like they'll have a competition, and a lot of times they'll tempt the house guests or something like that. It'll be like sometimes it'll be like, oh, everybody compete in this, and the better you do, the more money you'll get. But then sometimes it'll be like, oh, you have a choice. You can either contribute this money to the house's food budget, or you can be selfish and just take something for yourself. And like sometimes a bunch of people will take something for themselves. And then the food budget, like literally all they can buy is like some coffee beans and some rice.
I love because US used to do food competitions and like it just adds a whole nother layer to the game. And I missed that. I miss the food competitions, honestly.
Yeah.
I'm immediately laughing because as you're telling this, I immediately reminded of that one challenge where like they were trying to earn money for the house. And it was Tully, you know how we love Tully, Miss Tully.
Oh, I love Tully.
Of us, getting our reality TV stars to come chat with us. Yeah, we love her.
One of our first interviews. Yeah.
I think it was the first.
It was the first. Yeah. She's the one who got us started. She had to like fold all these clothes, like iron and fold all these clothes with this other girl. I think it was Julie, and they had to get all this done in like 3 hours or something like that. So like they're in there and they're like, please, you got to get this done. We're so hungry, like blah blah blah. And they're like, we're doing the best we can. They're ironing, and they were faced with the temptation. If you like crawl through one of the dryers, you can like have a free KFC meal.
Yeah, there was a secret room.
Bye. And they were like, forget it. So they just left all the clothes out there, and then they're just eating like huge chicken sandwiches like going to town. And Tully's like, I don't even feel bad. I don't even feel bad. I'm so hungry.
That was one of the best. Yeah, that really was awesome.
Because it's also like the crawling through the dryer because you had to go completely to another room. So then like they came out and then they went back to ironing, and then they were like, you want to just go back? And then they went in again. it was just so good. It was just so
and just
good.
Like the way they found the room too, because they're like so determined. Like we're gonna fold all this stuff. They're opening the washing machines and the dryer, taking the clothes out.
We're gonna get it done.
Yeah. And then I think it was Tully that found it too. That like was looking inside and was like, wait a minute. There's a room back there. And then she just like climbed back and it was a table set with all this like KFC food. She was like, well, screw this. We're going to eat some chicken.
Yeah,
oh my God. It's really so fun. Good.
And what added to why this was so funny is that as leading up to this, there had been a number of little challenges like this that people would either had to complete like as a duo for the benefit of the house so that the rest of the house could eat, or they would get this temptation. And everyone else was like not taking these temptations, but they're trying hard, but they're just not winning the challenges. So the attitude and energy going into this was, all right, we have to select 2 people, because that was the other layer to this, right? The house selected who went in to do the challenges. So
right.
It was Tully and Julie like, yes, we're going to get it done for you guys. Yes, woo! And then they see the chicken room. They're like, oh, well, forget it. Sorry, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, just, yeah. So Big Brother Australia does a lot of fun things like that. So,
yeah. Honestly, talking about this is making me want to rewatch the season. And honestly, Gina, if this is going to be your first season that you're watching and that we're going to cover on the podcast, like I would even recommend going back and rewatching the last
Yeah.
season because it's
It is
so
fun.
much fun.
It was fun. It was fun. And
The
there
whole
was
intruders thing too. Like, there's so
I
much. Like,
have mixed feelings on the
I
intruders.
hated that, like, coming into it, and then once we got to know the intruders more, it was like I kind of like these people because
Yeah,
then
well, my problem
you
wasn't
had the
the
whole
people,
moment with
it was the
Tim.
twist of the intruders. I just don't want more
Right,
people
right,
coming. Like, enough. Like, we're all
yeah,
moved in. The game is set up. Let's go. Stop putting people in. Because
yeah.
you remember Tully came late. And then you remember the other returnees were in the basement.
Oh, the sewer.
Yeah, like the
That's
sewer
right.
people. Like, there was a
That
lot
was
of
fun. Yeah,
people constantly coming in. It's like, can we stop now? And like, let's go.
I
'Cause
know.
you
I
didn't ever
know.
feel like the game was starting. So no, I didn't love the beginning.
No, I know what you mean, but I
Yeah.
feel like as a whole, overall, looking back on it, like I'm happy that everything that happened in that season did happen
Yeah.
the way it did,
As a
and
full complete piece, yes.
yeah. And
Yeah.
honestly, Gina, you should just watch the season just to see the legend that is Tim Dormer, who has competed on a season of Big Brother Canada, by the way.
He did.
Fun. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah.
he did BB Can 4.
Tim Dormer is so much fun to watch.
There were a
Like, think
lot
about
of great
how.
characters that I don't want to call them.
Oh, they were
characters,
great.
'cause
Yeah,
they're real people. But like,
we
there's
haven't
just
even
a
talked
lot
about our other
of great
favorites,
people.
like Gabby and Taras and
Gabby, Taras,
our
I
other
mean,
friends.
well, you know, we still speak to Gabby and Taras, and we still speak to Tully. Like,
Yeah,
of all the people we chatted with, I still speak to the Australians the most.
right.
Yeah. It's just the time thing is funny, but it's kind of nice. You wake up to like some messages,
Mhm.
and then before you go to bed, you send something that's nice.
Yeah,
But no, there were other awesome players. I mean, like, Johnson was incredible. Alicia was
yeah.
really great. Alicia being
Alicia,
scared
yeah.
of those chickens was one of
Oh
the.
my god.
See, that's the
Yeah.
other thing that okay. They clearly asked them like what their fears and things are, and like fuck with them the entire season. So like, in order for like Alicia to win food or win something like for the house, like she had to like lay down like on the ground, like with like honey and like chicken feed on her, and like they were one of these chickens to like peck at her and
Oh
like
my
eat off her or
God.
something. Like, do you remember that?
Your
And she was
literal
like,
worst nightmare.
and she was just like, no, honestly, I was screaming with her. But I just remember her going, I can't.
Yes,
And she's like
yes,
crying.
yeah.
It was just
Oh my god.
it's so
Do you
good.
remember the key competition, the key room that Gabby and Alicia had to do together? Where they're just screaming?
Yes. Like,
Oh my
honestly,
god.
yeah, they do a lot of really fun things. I'll see season 10. See, we didn't go back that far. See, because we're newer to Big Brother Australia.
Mm.
We watched the Canadian version. Thought the Australian would be like that.
It's a rude awakening.
Yeah, because see, that was back when the Australian version of Big Brother was voted on by the public, right? It's not like that anymore.
It's not. I mean, why do I think that was still a component?
No, it isn't anymore. Because it's all edited like Survivor. Like they all
Oh,
do
I'm
their
an
own
idiot.
stuff.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's definitely different. How did they this season? There were 2 eliminations a week though. They
There were
did
2
one,
cycles, yeah.
yeah, because there was one with how did that go? Yeah, because there were 2 completely different cycles. Because you had that one where the house voted, and the house would put up 3 people.
3 nominees, yeah.
Yeah, and then they played a second chance challenge, which is almost like a veto, but it's really just the 3 of them playing. And then whoever wins that comes off the block, and you have 2 people left. But the first one, what was the first one?
I think it was they would have another competition, and that person would then immediately go into a room and nominate whoever they wanted to.
Yes, because it's not really an HOH. It's just a nomination challenge. Isn't that what they called it or something like that? If you win, you just
was
go
like
right off to the DR and
right.
say who you put.
You couldn't even talk to anybody. It was like you won the competition. Okay, you immediately go in the diary room and say who you want to put up. That's it. No strategizing. No, let me go meet with the HOH first or this or that.
Right.
You know, like,
and then the vote is tonight.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how they did last season. So that it was very accelerated. But Don't know how we.
I had no idea. I had no idea we were going to talk about Big Brother Australia this much.
Honestly, until you pulled up that comment, I forgot we were even live.
Not that I'm upset about it, but
No. Oh, that's because we brought up the old version with the Australian public voting. That's how we got here. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Well, at least we know that. But all right. So that's that. Anything else for the benefit of the community?
just congratulations, Liz. Oh,
Yeah. Thank God for Liz.
what an
Thank God for
awesome
Australia.
win.
Good TV. Good TV.
Really, really, really awesome.
Yeah. But then we're back to Canada for Big Brother. That's Thursday at 9:30. Find us on the socials at Strat Chat Pod. Thanks so much for hanging out. Continue the conversation, comments and stuff. We're never done talking. Except for right now. Thanks so much.